Hi team, Easy Restorations at your service. Today I'm going to be working on the Royal Enfield 350, a Meteor no less. And I'm hoping to fit an aftermarket speedo, no not speedo, rev counter, tachometer. Is it tachometer for the rev counter? I think so, because it counts the amount of tacks, doesn't it? That's right. So anyway, here it is. Got me blue. Here it is. Here is the thing. Okay, it's a nice. It's not too bad. Like I say, it's got a finger mark or two on the inside of the glass. I can live with that. I can live with that. There's the mounting bracket. Dealy dee. I've just undone that with my 8mm Fisher Price socket set that Father Christmas got me a few years ago. So I took that off, and that enables me to get into here because there is no grommet or anything holding these cables, supporting these cables, stopping water getting in, most importantly. So I'm going to find a little grommet of sorts out of my watch fixing box of bits and pieces. So I'm going to seal that with a grommet. I am then going to heat shrink all of it onto there, hopefully leaving about a few mil on these cables so we can actually see what colours they are, and then sealing it up this stuff, Loctite black silicon. I have actually used that to silicon up the number plate light for the Royal Enfield part. Incidentally guys, that light fitting absolutely smashed to pieces. So it's dead, it's in the bin, it's gone, it no longer exists. The only part I've kept obviously is this part, because this part completely unscrews from that light fitting. So if my new one in a few years time or whatever, or a month or whatever, if the light, either the stop or the tail light fails, I have a spare which is easily fittable. So I'll have a spare. The only thing doesn't come with the new light fitting is the rubber back gasket, if you like, the insulator between the metal mudguard and the plastic light fitting. My one's torn. Doctor says it'll be fine, so that's good. Okay, right, let me crack on then. I was just going to go and stick this on the bike because these two, when put on a little 9-volt battery, makes the clock face all glow nice and blue with a red illuminated needle. I thought there were 3 cables. I thought there were just a signal cable coming out. So I don't know what the green and black do. I'm pretty sure that the yellow with the trace on it is the signal cable. But I'm going to go back online now, because you don't get instructions with these things. You just turn up in a broken box in a bubble wrap bag, and that's it. So I need to find out from the great interweb what those other 3 cables do before I do anything. And then I'll get that sealed up, and then we'll get outside in the blistering cold and we'll start working on the bike. Exciting stuff, eh? Yeah. So the other, like I said, the rear light is coming. It will be a few days. So I thought, what can I do in a few days? Drink lots of brew. What's that I hear? Is that a warbling of the wife? I do believe. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Okay, Royal Enfield 350 Meteor. Revometer counter. One of these little sausages. I need to wire it in. Okay, now what I've done so far, I think I showed a bit on the last episode, is I got the cables, the 5 cables, and I basically heat shrunk some cable, shrink obviously over these cables just to stop them bending, and just tied them up basically. But where that bolts underneath the yoke like that, right next to the speedo would be here, effectively, those little cables ain't long enough. Not long nothing, are they? They really aren't long enough to do anything. So it's got 5 cores. Been in the shed and I found my 5-core cable. Are you doing bunny rabbit ears behind my head? Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's a bonus. So yeah, 5-core cable. Let's put it down there and have a proper look at it, not my mug. There we go. We've got the 5 cores. We've got the red and black, which will go obviously with the red and black of there, and then we've got white, blue, green, and funny enough, we've got yellow, black, green. So I can kind of work with this, can't I? If you can see where I'm going with it. Right, I will now put a picture up of the wiring. So, sorry, can't think. I'm struggling today. I've been struggling for a few days. Just trying to remember what to say and shit. Okay, so I'm basically going to take off that shrink wrap off of this very gently with either a Stanley knife or some round tip scissors, and then I will proceed to strip, solder and heat shrink new protection over that so it's insulated. Then I'll put new heat shrink over however long I make this so it's double insulated, and cut it off, and then we can set about. Basically, it's raining again. I've been waiting all morning to actually be able to physically and mentally do this, and now it's sudden raining again, but never mind, we'll get there. What do you think of the new microphones? Do you think they work alright? Guys, if you have these kind of microphones, point them downwards away from the boat, because if they're pointed upwards you get the same volume, so it doesn't really overachieve anything, but pointing upwards you get the in the background as well. It's horrible. So face it downwards, doesn't get these zombie noises, and obviously with the muffler on the end there, it cuts out the wind. Cuts out my... I don't think it will. But we'll give it a try anyway. Oh god, it's good that we can still laugh, isn't it? Right, I'm going to get on with this soldering, and I'll catch you guys in a minute. Once my brain starts working, I'm alright. Recording take 2. Okay, soldering iron's nice and hot, and what I've done is I have stripped these. They're sort of terraced, if you like. They're stepped. So the first one's short, then it's 10mm, then that one, another 10mm, that one, and then up here again that's stripped to the base of that strip, to the base of that, so that's good. And I've done exactly the same on this side, so it should all marry up, and then I can slide this sleeve in, this heat shrink back over once I've all done that. Now because this is fairly thin, I haven't got any thin black heat shrink. This is heat shrink, guys. You put it over something, heat it up, and it shrinks and sort of encapsulates and grips and makes a watertight 9 times out of 10 seal if you've done it properly. So this one will effectively go over all of those, and then I shall heat shrink that down, and then once that's done I should put that over the top of that, and I should heat shrink that down onto that, and then when that's done it's a bit thicker because the thinnest black I've got is 1/2 inch, and then that should go quite nicely over all of that, and then I should better heat shrink that down, and that should be long enough hopefully to go into the I was going to say the cylinder head, then to the headlamp unit, for me to wire up. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to leave the coil that long, because what I want to do is once I've soldered that and I've slid the heat shrink all the way around and it's there and it's about 9-10 inches here, and I have the grey cable coming out the end, that's pretty much where I need to be with the red black for the light inside the rev counter, and the other three cables, the black, green and the yellow signal cable, I hope it's the signal cable, the black and green can also, now I'm going to take those three cables, the black, green and the yellow, I'm going to keep them long and run them down, heat shrink it all, run them down the framework down to where the coil is, so I can do all the connections right there. So I don't really want to tap into the positive and negative inside the headlight, so I really want to connect to the live, which I think is the green, to the positive ignition side of the coil, and the yellow goes to the negative side of the coil, which collapses the circuit, which induces high current onto the HT lead, the high tension lead, the big fat one coming out of your coil, which goes to your spark plug. See, I remember that. Can't be all bad, can it? Right, before I use up all of our electricity with the soldering iron, I better get on, hadn't I? I think a brew is in order. Okay, make sure my mic's contacted. Right, as you can see, I've got these all soldered and heat shrinked. So if you come in a bit closer, just to these, I'll not go back a bit, because I've got to slide this down onto there. But you can see what a good job I've done, obviously, with the lengths of those cables. So let's slide this down now, over, under, in and out. This is what it's all about. Like that, and then hopefully go inside the shell like that. Okay, now I can just heat shrink that on. By golly, when you're doing cables that are really short and you've got heat shrink waiting to go on, it's inevitable that the heat of the soldering process shrinks the heat shrink before you get a chance to put it in the position you want it in. It's a pain in the backside. I've had to do a little bit of modifying with the end of a sharp Stanley knife, basically to slice a bit of the heat shrink where it's clamped around the cable. Slice it about 3 or 4 mil and grab hold of that collar and then pull it over the solder area and then shrink it back down. But yeah, got there in the end. Oh, I should have used my heat gun, shouldn't I, for this? Alright, love, you can stop there if you like. Okay, so there we have it. There is the rev counter. Now I've orientated whilst I heat shrunk that cable. The cable, you know, the route it's going to sort of roughly take, so it's sort of dried like that, if you like, kind of thing. So it's not sort of straight, and then I've got to bend it around. So yeah, there we go. There's that. So that's not bad. I put two, like I say, two green and yellow earth heat shrinks over there, and then I've done the black one over the top. You can just see the step there, roughly where they are in there somewhere. There you go. So that's ready to go. So that will go into the headlight, and two of them will be, the red and black will go onto the there's a connector already inside the headlight which comes on when the ignition goes live, and the other three, like I say, will go back round following the frame, or literally sort of tie wrapped to other cables that are running along the chassis, along the frame there, and to the ignition coil area. Right, I'm going to have to knock on the egg because I am absolutely crackered. Little slightest thing. And I'm going to put a few little clips up. I think I put one up just now, actually, about some of the conditions that us folk can suffer with. And if you're in the same sort of band, same sort of area, well, it doesn't really matter what you got. I really feel for you out there, and I know what you're going through, so you're not on your own. Okay, right. Is this one video, or is this a part? Of course, it's a part 2, isn't it? Or is this part 3 even? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember the silliest little things. Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there because I don't know when I'll be able to finish this job. So I'll get this video out there for you guys to peruse and enjoy. If you'd like to drop a comment down below, if I'm doing it right or wrong, or you like what I'm doing. Do I change the channel? Do I try and go a bit upmarket with a few jazzy pictures at the start? You know, those ones that are like, will it start? You know, it's not me, I don't think, really, is it? But I feel like I'm being left behind. I don't know whether my videos are really cutting the mustard, should we say, these days. Don't know. Anyway, heat gun. Godsend for that heat shrink. Okay, guys, take care, and I'll see you again in a little bit. I'm still waiting on the batteries for the man scooter. Yeah, catch you later. Take care. Hit a like and subscribe.